Hi, everyone. This is Too Young to Be Old podcast with me, your host, Diane Gilman. Each week, my guests and I will share insights, advice, and more than a few laughs to empower and inspire women over the age of 50 who really need to embrace the aging process. We want to encourage you to pursue your passions and dreams, no matter what decade you're living in. Too Young to Be Old podcast is intended to educate, empower, and foster connection with our community. Please note that this podcast is not a substitute for medical advice or care. So with that said, let's settle in, get comfortable, and let's get started. Hi, this is Diane Gilman. You may know me as the Queen of Jeans, but I'm also the author of Too Young to Be Old. And I'm going to ask you a question. Are you ready to make yourself your own favorite DIY project? I hope so, because we have got the ultimate aging young expert for our podcast today, Debi Carlin Boyle. Debi, how are you? I'm so thrilled you could come on.
Oh, I'm so good today. Thank you, Diane. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, two
Thank you
older
so
girls
much.
with like mind. So I see in your whole bio that you are called an aging young expert. And the thing I love the most, and you really coined the phrase, is living longevity with quality. That, at this point, I'm about to turn 78. That is my
Amazing.
mantra. It has to be quality, and it doesn't necessarily come easy or automatically.
No. We are in charge. We are sort of our own vessel on how we're
Yeah,
going
which
to
is kind of
create that
scary.
longevity. It is. And, I hate the phrase that nothing comes easy, but really, self-care should be the number one thing in our lives, I think, because it creates what our future is going to be. And when we're good in ourselves and good with ourselves, we're good for everyone else around us,
The
so.
crazy thing is, and I think we talked about this before, and we're going to get to diet, but I really, at holiday season, I mean, I will sit down and eat a quart of ice cream. If you put ice cream in my freezer, it is not going to last. I have no control over that stuff. And so I got high cholesterol. I had conditions that I wasn't thrilled with, like high blood pressure. I brought that all down. But when we talk about longevity with quality, everything about my body after heavy chemotherapy and radiation really functions well, except for one knee. So here I am, and I'm saying to myself every morning, today's the day it's going to get better. I'm going to do more exercise. But then I found I really needed help. And finally, unbelievable resistance. I went and got those gel shots in my knee, and I am now on the road to longevity with quality. So I think you need
Good.
experts. I wish that you were living in my town and you were my life coach, because I want to get into what you say is a holistic approach to aging, and how do we balance our lives? How does that all go together? The holistic and what I think is probably internal balance.
Okay, so from my point of view and from my practice and what I do with my clients, and by the way, I work with people all over the world, so we can talk about that further.
Okay.
Yes. So when it comes to balance, it comes to everything. It's important that we address everything that feeds us in life, including the food on our plate.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the food on our plate separate. But let's talk about all the other things that feed us. And those are the things, like, of course, so my three main things that I try to talk to my clients about, get them in the right mindset, is obviously the food. And then when we go away from the food, we talk about movement or exercise. And it's not a one size fits all with everything we're talking about here. There's a little term I phrase called bio-individuality, that there are no two people alike. Your food could be my poison, my food could be your poison.
Yes.
Your, what the thing you like to exercise and do may be the thing I hate. So I zero in on that person and their likes and dislikes that are doable within their lifestyle, within the, what their 24 hours look like, what their week, what their month, and what their
I
year and their goals
I
are.
call it customization. I think that
Mm-hmm.
while you're still in school, in your youth, people show you what to do. You fit into, if you're a guy, you're a
Being
football
taught.
player. If you're a girl and you're a jock, you're on the basketball team or you're a cheerleader. But then you get to middle age, and that's usually all about work and maybe running. And then you get to past 55, and suddenly running's not so good. The joints hurt. But wait a minute, that's what I did. I ran morning and night for 30 years. Well, yeah, that's why I have arthritis in my knees now. So,
Same.
what I have found is I had to it's like going through the dark part of the ocean and coming to places that are more well lit. I had to find out for myself, okay, I can't do those kind of marathons anymore. I've got a knee issue, but I can do aerobic arm exercises or finding substitutes for food I love because I know that these foods are toxic for me. I had a hormone-based breast cancer, so I know I can no dairy products, no hormones, no GMOs. And it sounds like no this, no that, no cheese. But you know what? If I had to weigh eating a big blob of mozzarella against feeling really energetic day after day, as much as I love the mozzarella, I would choose the energy side. And how tough is it when you get clients that think to themselves, why do I have to put into in the work? I think aging young is a second career. I really do. I think it's work, but you can
it,
learn to love
it,
it.
it is work. So rather than work and making it more of a negative, I try to
Ah,
say lifestyle, and it's hard to make change. So we're creatures of habit. So our habits from our childhood, the things our parents fed us, the things our grandparents fed us, our grandparents. I heard a phrase lately, and I have a grandchild, so I'm guilty of this. But I heard a phrase that grandparents are the drug dealers for their grandchildren when it comes to candy. We're the one that give them the
you're the
treats, and so they
enablers. Yeah,
become
yeah,
addicted or enable them. They become addicted to sugar. So, from a very early age, we're literally fed a certain lifestyle and a certain way to eat and a certain way to move or not move or to be
yes.
lazy or whatever. And you and I are from a different generation that didn't possibly move. Our parents did not
Oh,
move the way
there
our
was no
generation did.
such thing as
No.
exercise. And because my parents came over and, escaped Nazi Germany in World War II, hey,
Oh, wow.
you were wealthy if you could eat red meat protein every day of the week. That was a sign of wealth and happiness and Americana. And so, yeah,
Exactly.
I found that a lot of
Different time.
different
It
times,
was just
different
different
sociological attitudes.
mentality.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
Exactly. Exactly. So now we're in a different place in our world and in our way of how we look at taking care of ourselves. And I think there's more awareness about taking care of ourselves. So what I do is I coach clients who have goals to help them be the best possible version of themselves.
Oh,
And
that's
sometimes,
beautiful the way
like
you put
with
that. Yeah.
because we all have this, we have our genetic potential to meet genetically where we can be, but we also have a mindset from our habits from when we were young that kind of push us in a direction that say, oh, this is going to be too much work to go off this track.
We
But
also,
it's not healthy for me,
it's
to stay on
also
that track.
such a contradiction. And if you don't mind, I'm going to tell everybody
No.
that Debbie does live very close in a way to the Kardashians, and the Kardashians destroyed female America because you never saw them jogging or sweating, or it was all about getting shots and augmenting your hips and your derriere, and but it was all about just kind of sitting on a sofa, or maybe exercise was shopping. But miracle of miracles, you looked perfect and you never
Yeah.
aged. And
Yeah.
when we see
Well,
those kind of images and believe them, and
exactly.
someone turns around and tells you, you need to lose 50 pounds and you have got to put the pedal to the metal and really exercise, uh, you don't want to hear it. And the other day, because after the gel shots, I needed physical therapy. The physical therapist said to me, and he was terrified, Debbie. He was like, now, I've got to tell you something, and you may not like it. And I'm thinking, okay, I got the build up. Let's just get to the meat here. And he said, you are going to have to exercise and strength train the rest of your life. And I said, do you think that's a punishment? I said, I think it would be
Yeah.
great if
See,
I could. But I think in America, we're so used to sitting on a sofa looking at reality TV shows
true.
where everybody is groomed and perfect and has been in makeup for like 8 hours, and that we assume that this can be our lives with no effort put in. I'm more than willing to put the effort in. Just show me how.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we have coaches, and that's why
Like
we
you,
have
yes.
people that inspire us. Yes. And that's why I got into, I mean, I was a television commercial producer for 30 years, but I had this little side hustle of teaching spinning on a bike. And then I became a personal trainer because of my passion, because of my need to know that I lost my father at a very, very young age. His side of the family went at a very young age from disease. And I saw a lot of illness and a lot of struggle around me from an early age, from in their 30s on. And I thought, wait, I do not want my life to be that. What
Right.
is it that needs to shift? What is it that needs to change? And yes, I had the wherewithal back then when I entered college to kind of get out of my household, change the way I ate, put exercise into my life. Basically, my goal back then was to get a boyfriend. But even when your
Yeah,
goals, even
absolutely.
it was a good reason to make a change in my life. But what I saw when I started exercising, when I started eating well, when I started resting, I got rid of the brain fog. My body, because I was still young, my body immediately responded. I felt better. I looked better. Everything became like a clear vision for me on what my
Uh-huh.
lifestyle moving forward
And
was going to
and you
be.
know what? You're
And
saying something so relevant, because when the doctor, we were discussing this, when the general practitioner said to me, you're going to die from cholesterol. I've never seen cholesterol this high, and your blood pressure stinks. And I said, okay, I've been really bad. It's holiday season. Give me 6 to 9 months. And amazingly enough, you had a young body that responded. I had a 77-year-old body where I was able, just through good eating habits and some aerobic exercise, to bring my cholesterol down to perfect, my blood pressure to perfect. So it pays
that's the point.
to have that kind of discipline at any age. And the one thing that I really loved and thought was amazing, when I went for breast cancer treatment, I went to a drop-in clinic, the Dubin Clinic within Mount Sinai. The iconic hospital on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. And when you go into the Grand Hall of Mount Sinai, one wall is like, it was like the Ten Commandments, only it was the Ten Commandments of Mount Sinai for living a healthy life, especially if you had heart disease or cancer. And it was, don't eat red meat, don't eat dairy products, eat very little fish if you're going to eat protein, but try to be all vegetable, which is impossible for me. Go figure, but can't do it. And so it was amazing to me that they incorporated how you should live your life right now through treatment and the rest of your life with a whole guide of how to eat, what not to eat, yoga. It was incredible to me that a medical institution would go to what I would call a holistic level. Is that what you call holistic as well?
Well, yeah, well, yes, because everything you mentioned is a positive lifestyle change, and
Ah,
you
yes.
brought something up that it is never too late to change because
Never.
somebody in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, and I have clients in their 80s. My oldest client is 88.
Yay.
So you for you to make a change, those are the things that have to come into, those are the sort of things that create a wellness lifestyle for your entire body. When we say holistic, it means whole. It means a lot,
Oh,
everything
nice.
healthy, from a healthy standpoint. It's never too late. On my podcast, and I've been podcasting now for 7 years, actually going on my 8th year,
Yikes.
I've had so many cancer thrivers on my show.
Oh,
And
I love
one of the
that
things that
term.
they
Wow.
all,
I'm
yes,
writing it
just
down.
thriving. And one of the things that they have in common is they made a change. They made a drastic change in
Oh, yeah.
lifestyle. Now, and started eating, the number one thing, food is medicine, medicine is food, food can heal you and food
Yes.
can hurt you.
So true.
So we want to think of it as positive. And again, not everybody's food is good for one
Right.
person is what's good for another, but that's what I work with people individually on, and that's what people who are on a health mission should start trying to delineate what's good for them and what is
And the
not, what's
other
harming them.
thing, and it was a really serious decision for me, was, most people were to 65. Here I was at 77 debating retiring from live television. Should I? Maybe I shouldn't. But I felt that there was a lot of challenges and aggravation in my life that was going to translate to disease if I didn't get rid of it.
Well,
I,
stress is a number
yeah,
one of those big, it's a huge one. It's
that
huge
was tough for me to
in
walk away from that.
elimination.
It was, it was
Yeah.
almost, you live that lifestyle where there's adrenaline pumping all the time. How do I look on TV? What am I going to sell today? What am I going to say? How are they going to take it? Am I going to be successful? And I thought, got to find something more age appropriate, something with less stress and perhaps a gentler form of satisfaction. And you know what? People say they see just a huge difference in my hair quality, my skin quality, how much positivity and joy and love you put into your life. I think match that with customizing your diet for the decade you're in and never forgetting that movement is everything. Because I thought I was going to lose my mobility with my knee, and when you think about that, it's like, no, that can't happen to me. But yeah, I went through breast cancer
I
and
mean,
didn't exercise for 4 years, and here I am, and I've got to make up for lost time, I feel.
Yeah, well, never too
Yeah,
late, once again.
exactly.
And you know what? One of the things with my sort of age young mantra, and saying is we have to be aware that throughout the decades of our life, our bodies change. There are hormonal changes.
Huge.
There is, our metabolism changes. We have bone loss. We have muscle loss. Bone and muscle go together. So what we're doing is I don't want to say the word fight because again, that's a negative, but we are working sort of against what our bodies are wanting to
Yes,
naturally do,
genetically
which
do. Right.
is yes, because as we age, those things, our heart rate slows down. When your heart rate slows down, your systems slow down. So we digest our food slower. So we have to eat less because we don't
Oh,
metabolize food the
that
same.
is
So
so relevant. That's why I went on without even knowing I went on it. The intermittent fasting. I found that if I ate one meal a
big thing,
day by about 2
smart.
p.m. in the afternoon, and really finished eating by 3, and in the morning just had at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., one slice of bread with bacon butter, I was far better off. And here's the thing. You as you get older, you should know yourself more and you should be able to see body signs, right? So just going
Hmm.
on intermittent fasting after cancer treatment, I lost 30 pounds. I wasn't even
Wow.
aware so much. Well, a lot of it was also, water weight from all the chemicals from the chemo but I wasn't even really aware, of course, intentionally. I always want to lose weight, but I didn't see myself as dieting. I saw myself, as you said, changing lifestyle and seeing an older body that wasn't using up a huge amount of fuel running, morning and night, but still enjoying food. So I made that very important. But what I find is a lot of people, when they get older, and yes, you are going to have some aches and pains you're going to have to deal with, they see food as a reward, and that food slows them down even more and gives them even more health problems. Because if I say to somebody, no, I'm not eating ice cream, no, I don't eat sugar, no, I don't eat cheese, they're like, oh, you poor thing. No, these are my choices. You've
No.
got to
Yeah.
you need to listen to your inner self, do you not? Do you find many of your clients are sort of oblivious to that? How does that work for you?
Well, it's really hard for people to change habits. And we grew up with sugar and we grew up with things like ice
Coca-Cola
cream
all
and
day long. Yeah.
deep fried
Oh,
food
yummy.
and soft
My
drinks. And
favorite.
these are things, when I was saying food can harm you, these are the things that harm you. So it's a shift, it's a mindset shift, and it's actually something you have to put into action. And it's small, actionable steps over time to make a
Oh,
sudden,
that's such a
abrupt
good way
change
of putting
from
it.
what what you've been doing throughout your life is very difficult. And that's why a coach, someone like me, comes into play because I give you the action steps one step at a time. And then now you've incorporated this. Let's say the first thing I want you to do is simply to drink one extra glass of water a day. Everybody should be drinking half their body weight in ounces in
No,
water, in just
no.
water. Yes, yes, that's how much we're 70%
I'm
water, our
terrible.
bodies.
I'm
We need
terrible
to
about.
dehydration is a catalyst for disease, so we don't want to be dehydrated. Once you start hydrating yourself, you're not going to be as hungry or have as many
You're
cravings.
right
You'll
about
keep your
that.
hormones
Yeah,
in balance.
yeah.
Yes. So so think of your body weight. For instance, I'm 110. So I need to drink 55 ounces of water. How do I break that down throughout the day?
Oh,
I have to be vigilant about it. So yeah, so
so here's
what's the
18
ounces in that?
ounces and 18.9
Okay,
ounces.
so
And if I get that in a day, I'm lucky. That it's interesting, but I am not,
is that carbonated,
and
Diane?
it's
Is that water
carbonated, and
carbonated?
it's carbonated.
Drink water.
I don't like
Water.
water. See,
Put lemon in it. There's
now I'm
lemon.
becoming a
There's lemon
client.
in here.
Maybe if I put lemon or I put cucumber in it, it would be more appealing to me. But
Both.
for
Do both.
some reason, I love the carbonation and only for one kind of Italian water. But that seems very satisfying to
Something
me.
it's a habit and a taste you've acquired over time
Totally.
and somewhere you got in your head. So I had a client like you. She only drank Pellegrino. No, she only drank Perrier. And I kept saying to her, so I don't mind that, that's fine, but you have a goal and you're only drinking this and not drinking water. Why don't you drink this and water? She said, well, I don't like water. And I said, so put some lemon, put some fruit, put some vegetables, whatever you have to do to shift it. Don't put anything sugary in it, but just start with that. She does not drink carbonated drinks anymore at all. She doesn't drink her Perrier.
Wow.
I was at her house for lunch on Saturday, this past Saturday, and she offered me. She offered me a Perrier. She goes, "No, wait, you don't drink that." And she said, "I don't drink it here. I only keep it for my guests." She completely turned herself around. It took a minute. It took a minute. That's what I'm saying. Small, actionable
But
steps. And if we just start with water,
yeah,
we're making strides. That's the first
I
step.
don't know about you, but I've spent my whole career, which was a huge part of my life, setting goals and achieving them. And when you achieve a goal,
Hmm.
you feel so complete, so powerful.
That's
And I would not say complete or powerful or in control are phrases I would normally associate with aging. Most of us feel, every time I ask somebody, and I ask everybody, how do you feel about aging? I'm terrified. I don't want to. I'm so scared. There's no good to
because
it.
the images that we see the images that we see turn us
Yeah,
off. So there's no, we're going to age every second of every
we
day. We're
hope.
getting older, right?
Yeah,
Well, right. We're going to age, and there's a genetic component to it. So we can maximize our genetics and our potential to be healthy and age well to keep our skin. I'm 65, about to be 66. I have my hair. I've got good skin. I haven't had any surgery whatsoever. And this is a lifestyle that I created for myself once I got out of my household to create and I always learn. There's always something
oh,
new to learn about a
totally.
healthy food or about
Yes.
something that's not good for you. It's this good. There's new studies about this and that. It's an ever-ending subject. It's not something that
Yeah.
is,
And
finite. But what we know for sure is, and we know this there are 5 blue zones in the world, and these are zones where we have centenarians
uh-huh.
that are living life to the fullest at old age. And it's because of the way they eat. It's because of the way their community is, their
Yes.
interaction, their social
Yes.
life. It is because they usually have a passion in what they're doing in life. They're also moving, whether they're out, herding sheep up a
Yeah.
field, because there's only one place in the United States, and that's Loma Linda, California, and that's the home of the Seventh-day Adventists. And they worship together, and they're also very healthy. They have limits on how they eat, when they eat, and what they eat. So these people are living healthy well into their hundreds, because they are able to maintain a lifestyle that doesn't have that image hunched over on a walker, shriveling up. I can tell you that those people have not adapted the self-care lifestyle that I'm talking about. And it's no fault of their own. It's just habit, and they never changed. Some people don't want to make changes. I see that over and over again when I'm out with friends who know full well that drinking 3 drinks when we go out at night and eating fried food, one dish after another, is not going to make them feel good the next day, which in turn is breaking down things that are creating, because they have these habits of doing these unhealthy things. They're going to be in that category of aches and
You
pains and
know,
not having the quality of
yeah,
life that they
it
want.
was interesting to me. I don't think I got a full grasp of what cancer treatment was going to be, because friends came with me to almost every big meeting, and Mount Sinai gives you your own personal nutritionist to talk to you about your diet. But a lot of that is the fact that you will have no immune system, so you can't eat
Hmm.
salad bar. You can't eat fresh vegetables that have been cut up. There were a million things that I never knew I was going to miss that I
Until they were
craved
gone.
for. And when finally, after like 20 months or something, the nutritionist finally said, have at it. Go make a salad. And you know what? Sometimes you have to have those healthy options, which really feel good to me, taken away from you for a heartbeat, to see how much your body really craves it. And now
It's
I will
true.
actually even make a salad with, I like a lot of crunchy vegetables, like cucumber
Good for you.
and all the colored peppers. I won't even put salad dressing on it. I was
Love
so
it. Good.
dragged away from eating that stuff. So I love your message. I think you are the ultimate aging young expert. And longevity with quality, that is something I could quote and put into blogs I write for the rest of my life, because that, I think, is exactly, that hits it on the nail. That's what I and so many of the people that join us on this podcast seek. So if you had one last piece of advice for anybody listening who says longevity with quality, really? What does that mean? How am I going to get that? We have about 2 minutes left. Go for it, Debbie.
Well, first you have to change your mindset. You have to be willing, you have to be wanting. You have to look at the future and see. I know for me from an early age, I wanted to chase after my great grandchildren. That was sort of my goal.
Oh, okay.
So first, create a goal. Create a goal. What is it you want to see in your
Yes.
future? How do you
Oh,
want that to
yeah.
play out? Then you got to work backwards and see, what are the things I need to change? Am I actually eating the healthiest I could possibly be eating? What are the basics I need to start doing today? The small actionable steps. Get a coach, work with somebody if you can. If you can't, there's always groups out there. And now on the internet, you can Google anything, 5 most important things I need to be doing for longevity. There's so many articles out there. I have them on my website. These are the things that can make a difference. If you can't, those Biggest Loser shows, uh-uh. Those are quick
And
and
actually
fast and
dangerous.
furious and
Yeah. But that
not
but that
sustainable.
is the American viewpoint, that you sort of do nothing and then some miracle happens and you're 100 pounds skinnier and looking great in a dress and da 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 da. There's a reason why that show was canceled, because so many of the
Right.
contestants
It's
got
false
sick.
advertising is what it is.
But I will
It's
say, and I'm just going to have to conclude, I will say, not only has it been a privilege speaking to you, but I think you agree
okay.
with me. Aging is a privilege, not a punishment. And if we can just keep that in our mindset,
Like that.
we're
Of
going to be
course.
able to pivot and change. So for me, from going from being, I used to, because I was, as you said, raised in the household where red meat was life and red meat was prosperity. I went from eating red meat probably twice a day, every day of my life, in my 20s and my 30s and my 40s, to being vegan-ish, and it feels so much better and so much more appropriate for my age. Debbie, where can anybody find you if they want to
Ah,
start following you?
So the best place to find me is my website. It's Balanced Life by Debi, Balanced Life, all one word, by Debi Carlin Boyle. But by Debi is spelled Debi, balancedlifebydebi.com. And there are all, I'm, also a personal trainer and a fitness instructor. I'm a health and nutrition coach. I help people just round out
You
their
are
life. So there you'll see all the services.
Renaissance health woman, and I love
I love what I do.
the fact also, and then I've really got to go. My producer is like, yeah, there's flags waving and stuff. But rather than call yourself an anti-aging expert, you put it so positively. You're an aging young expert. And somebody asked me the other day, I was being interviewed, and they said, "What is the meaning of the title of your book, Too Young to Be Old?" And I said, I will always, in my head and my heart, be too
That's where it
young
starts.
to be old. But the physical body and everything that is attendant to it, I don't want it dragging along with me. I want it a pace and helping me. So your message is so modern. Your message is the future is here now. And I thank you so much for being my guest.
Oh, I thank you for allowing me to,
Bravo.
I'm very passionate about what I do and helping people. So
Bravo.
thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. A
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you so much for listening to Too Young to Be Old podcast. The episode may be over, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Diane Gilman, or visit our website, thedianegilman.com. If you like the show, leave us a rating or a review and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And until then, don't forget, age is just a number. Together, we'll prove that we are all too young to be old.